Speaking of the Tush Push, with all due respect to us, Chris, you and I do an Overreaction Monday, and with all due respect to No Contest Wrestling, and as of yet, the Jim Jackson pod, we're all trailing What the Football with Susie and Amy in terms of aggregation, in terms of what's been picked up from our podcast this week. Mm-hmm. Jim Nantz had a couple things to say. It's true. Well, Susie and Amy had Jim Nantz, and this one got clanking around the old internet tubes. It was Jim's opinion of the Tush Push and getting it out of football.
I have a question for you about the change in the league's onside kick rule, because there was an opportunity here where I think it was like 40 or 45 seconds or so before the Chiefs would have had the opportunity under the new rule to use an onside kick.
Missed the play. That's all I can tell you. I really missed the play. And I know what the percentages were. The percentages were almost negligible. We almost had no recoveries under the old rules. But I still like the surprise element. I want to address one other thing while we're talking rules. You talked onside kick. I'm done with the Tush Push. I think it needs to go away. And I know that's a big part of the arsenal for the Eagles. I think it needs to change. Now, they execute it better than anyone. So Philadelphia fans, will there be an outcry? Say, why are you penalizing us? I don't like the play.
Why?
I just don't like the play. It feels too automatic. They had a point where they settled for a field goal, 1st and goal at the 4. Why wouldn't you have just run the Tush Push? You got 4 plays to get it across. You're probably only going to need 3, maybe 2. Jalen doesn't fumble that snap. He doesn't. I mean, he's going to get 1.5 yards every single time. But I don't like the play. It just doesn't feel like football to me. And maybe you could do something to phase it out a little bit and not totally penalize. Maybe it's like coaches' challenges. Maybe you get 2 a game.
Oh, interesting. Very creative.
Yeah. Don't take it completely away, but you have that in your hip pocket. If you're going to use it, you can use it twice in a game.
That's on What the Football. Susie and Amy, and Jim had a lot to say about Super Bowl 59 in general. As a guy who's called more Mahomes games than any other human being on the planet. What do you think? That the formation, you only get to use it a handful of times a game, because he's not wrong. If it's 1st and goal from the 4, why are they even running a play other than the Tush Push? You can run it once on 1st down, and then if you get the 2 yards, if you body surf your way inside the 2, then you know you're set up for 1 more of those. The problem, and then you're running the risk of a 3rd down play now. Like what?
I guess the problem I have is that it's literally just a rule against one team, and that's
because they're so good at it.
Well, no one else really does it, and so it's kind of.
Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Didn't we see Zach Ertz? They're the ones who do it with their quarterback, but we've seen what Zach Ertz does it. Did Laporta do it? No, Mark Andrews does it for the Ravens.
Oh, he did.
Right? He gets under center.
It feels like
then you push him.
It feels like an anti-Eagles rule, which is like kind of tough to just single out one team and make a rule against a play. I guess stop it.
The Bills do it a lot. It's just that they didn't do it very well. They kept on going in the same, gap in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
So hold on a second. Would it be better for those who want it out if others were as good at it?
Then I think you'd have more of a conversation. But because the Eagles are so dominant, what are they, 95% conversion? It feels like anti-Eagles.
Well, and the reason why it's what Jim is saying is it's just you're Tush Push fatigue. That you could technically, his point is, do it 3 times from the 4-yard line, and you're in because of how good they are at it. On the flip side, that's another thing about Sirianni that he doesn't get credit for. Is he the creator of this thing? Was he the one? When was this born? Was this born like in the middle of the night, saying, you know what we can do? We've got Kelsey, and we've got Jalen Hurts who can. Was it one of those moments where He's walking through maybe the weight room and he sees what Jalen Hurts is doing on leg day, and and a light bulb goes over his head.
Oh, I was thinking like 2 a.m., can't sleep, Australian rules football's on the deuce, and you're like, wait a second.
Nice.
Like, we could do that.
Or it's the way that I always view rodeo. Like, this came up out of sheer boredom, just people getting drunk on a porch in the middle of the plains, 200 some odd years ago. Let's just rope that pig.
Hey, man, that's
I don't know how it came to be.
Rich, that's how one of the greatest charitable contributions in current day history started off. With two guys watching a football field and one guy going, hey, how fast you think I could run that?
Okay, yes, that's
my
40-yard dash was born out of boredom. That is correct.
Yeah, and look where it is
I
now,
wish it was born out of alcohol. That means I could have something to drink while waiting for our shoot to begin. Unprofessional behavior, I understand. Guilty. But I just don't know how you can legislate it out. It's just interesting that formation can only be used a certain time of game. But he also just said he doesn't like the fact that an onside kick formation, you must declare it, you only can use it a certain time of game.
I hate that too.
So now he's kind of trying to institute that for the tush push. I just don't know how. I totally understand what Jim is saying. It's boring. It's also something that could be completely used way more than it already is. It's only just a special play from inside the one. They could technically do it anywhere on the field when it's 3rd and 3 and it's 2-down territory.
4th and, yeah.
You could do it twice. Let's get it into that spot where it's a no-brainer. I'm just wondering, like, how far back do the Eagles consider it needs to be from the line of scrimmage to take it out of your usage?
They didn't even do
Is
it
2.5 yards?
that often during the Super Bowl. What, twice maybe?
Well, I mean,
I know they didn't have to, but
you don't have to tush push your way in. Well, I mean, Hurts' first touchdown was a tush push.
Yeah.
Was it not?
it was. Yeah.
Plus, I hate the name tush push.
Oh, brother, we shove. We don't.
Did I not see? I also think I saw Jalen Hurts and Saquon on Jimmy Fallon saying they don't call it that. And he refused to say what they call it. I just think that you can't call it out of the rule book. How do you do that? Or you just say you can't push another teammate. That's
Right.
it.
That's what you say.
That's what you say.
You change the rule,
cannot
right? And then that kind of
push
legislates it
a
out.
teammate.
But
You cannot drag him. You cannot push him. You cannot aid your teammates' forward progress.
It's already a penalty to
Period.
pull guys off a pile.
yeah, true.
So
Maybe that's the fix.
that could be a
Instead of
fix.
trying to limit the usage of it.
But Chris, just to double what you said, Rich, why don't other teams
Other teams really could do
it's
this,
so
but-
foolproof. This is so simple. You're at the one; it's unstoppable.
The reason why
Everybody should be doing this.
The reason why other teams don't do it is they do not have a quarterback like Jalen Hurts, who is built like the proverbial brick you-know-what house from the waist down.
Yeah, what does he squat 600 pounds
And-
or whatever?
yeah,
and you're not-
Washington probably couldn't do it with Jaden
No.
Daniels.
And you're
but-
not concerned that Jalen Hurts is going to come out of this scrum like Mahomes did with his kneecap on the side of his leg years ago when he just went regular, straightforward quarterback sneak. Like, who else could do it? Lamar isn't built like
Lamar can't.
Jalen.
Look, Josh
Herbert
Allen could
is,
do it.
Allen is.
But why not use
Anthony
a running
Richardson
back,
is.
You know?
Well, wait, with the Ravens.
Oh,
why
Anthony
they use
Richardson.
Mark Andrews.
Chris, I
That's
didn't
right.
think about that.
Doesn't Washington use Zach Ertz for it, or am I wrong about
he did
that?
with the Cardinals. He had used it in the past.
So that's what you do. And if more and more teams do it, that's how you can let. But don't you remember when your friend pushed Reggie Bush?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was illegal in college football. You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, they got away with it.
And now I don't know why other teams in college football don't use it.
Yep.
Jim Nantz with food for thought, everybody. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.